Hey guys, it's Cook. Welcome to my kitchen. I'm going to show you today why I'm going to be your next Food Network star. I want to show you one of my favorite family recipes. It's called lemongrass pepper chicken. And I get so excited when I cook this because it was really one of my favorites that my mom made for me when I was younger. So I'm going to show you a little bit about what's going on here on my countertop. I've got all the ingredients already prepared for you. We're going to use chicken breast today. Normally, lemongrass chicken, which is called gasausauk in Vietnamese, is made with chicken with bones in it, and it's normally the dark meat, like chicken thighs or chicken legs, because the meat's cheaper and you get a lot more flavor when you cook meat with the bone in it. But we're trying to be healthy today, and my boyfriend really enjoys chicken breast, so we have chicken breast for you today. The other ingredients are minced garlic, fish sauce, oyster flavor sauce, green onions, crushed red peppers, cayenne pepper, some lemongrass, and in my house, the Holy Trinity: onion powder, garlic powder, and white pepper. We have jalapenos, garlic, onion, cilantro, ginger root, and lemongrass, which is one of my favorite herbs to cook with. Let me tell you a little bit about lemongrass. It is a type of grass that's very common in tropical areas. It's used very widely in Southeast Asia, and I know that the Chinese people really use it for medicinal purposes, but the Vietnamese and the Thai people like to cook it in curries, soups, and stir fries. Let's start with the chicken breast. I'm not going to marinate this tonight because the ingredients that I'm using are flavorful enough that it's not required. And it's perfect for a quick meal when you're coming home from work and you only have 20-30 minutes to fix dinner. I've cut chicken on this board, so I'm going to make sure that I wash everything that touched the chicken with hot water because you don't want to spread germs. I'll be right back. I'm back. My cutting board and my knife have been cleaned. No more bacteria. I'm going to start on my fresh ingredients. I'm going to cut my jalapenos and slice it in half. And then I'm not going to take the seeds out because that's going to add to the heat in my dish. But you might want to do that. I'll put this aside. Next thing I'm going to cut is the yellow onion. Cut them into about inch and a half size pieces. When my mother used to cook this, she would slice the onions very thinly and wait until the very end of the cooking stage and add them so that they were still kind of raw. I don't like raw onions, so I'm going to cut them big, but I'm going to make sure that I add them early enough to cook them. So here's my fresh garlic. I've already minced it for you, but I wanted to make sure that you saw that I'm using fresh garlic. It gives your food a kick when you use fresh garlic, and especially when you use it alongside ginger. So here's my ginger root. It's fresh ginger. I've already started to peel a little bit of it, but I'm going to finish peeling the rest of it. I'm going to peel the skin away, and I'm not going to use all of this. So ginger is actually very good for you. I have a secret to share with you. Every time one of my stir-fry recipes call for garlic sauteed in oil, I always add fresh ginger to it. Mostly when I'm cooking chicken or shrimp, I find that it releases a citrusy burst in my food, and I really love the way it smells when it's heating up. This is one of my favorite recipes that my mom cooks for me, but she doesn't know that when I cook it, I change it a lot. So my point of view is really, it's to just cook it. What I do is I take traditional recipes that I've grown up on, or recipes that of food that I love. And when I duplicate it in my kitchen, I always add my spin on it. I always add ingredients that I'm comfortable with or I love to use in my food. And one of these things is ginger. My mom would never put ginger in her lemongrass chicken, but I do, and you should. So lemongrass is called lemongrass because it is kind of citrusy. It's got this strange minty citrus smell and taste. So when you cook it in food, it really does provide this burst of flavor. I'm going to mince the lemongrass in this recipe. The reason why is if you leave your lemongrass too big and you don't cook it all the way, the taste can be very overpowering. So you want to make sure you cook it all the way. I'm going to use both the minced fresh lemongrass as well as the frozen kind. And this is the one that my dad sent me, and if you'll notice that it's been very processed. And it's perfectly fine. What I do is I'll take the little packages out of the freezer, pop them in the microwave for about 20 seconds, and it's ready to go. So my ingredients have been prepped, and I'm ready to start cooking. So here we are at the stove. I'm gonna go ahead and turn my stove on high. One thing about stir frying is it requires very high heat. So I've turned my stove on high. I'm using 2 different oils today. I'm using olive oil and sesame oil. And the reason why I like to use a combination of the two is sesame oil is actually very expensive, and it's got a very low smoking point. So I'm gonna put a little bit of sesame oil in, and the olive oil. Oh, I forgot to mention, I use sesame oil because it smells divine. So let's start by adding the garlic and the ginger. I'm gonna add my chicken. You know, growing up in southern Mississippi, I learned a lot about Cajun food, and you know, at my house we cook Asian food all the time. So I kind of, you know, I'm known as a Cajun Asian. I do a good mix of the two. This definitely is an Asian dish, but the spice level may take a Cajun to enjoy it. But this dish normally takes between 10 and 12 minutes to cook, so it's really very fast. This is about 2 tablespoons of oyster flavor sauce. And oyster flavor sauce and the fish sauce here, again, it's about 2 tablespoons. Supply the salty and the umami flavors in this dish. The next thing I'm going to add is the lemongrass. So I've just added the onion powder, garlic powder, and white pepper. And I called it the Trinity earlier because I really do cook with it an awful lot. I know that the white pepper gives off a fragrance, an aroma that is different from black pepper, and I really love that it's freshly ground. Next is the crushed red pepper and the cayenne. So I keep a food blog called Just Cook It. The former teacher in me loves to share the knowledge. So I publish all of my recipes on there. It's time to add the jalapeno and the onions. Actually put this in too late. We're done, so let's plate. So here we are at my rice cooker. I recommend every house get a rice cooker. When I went away to college, my parents actually got me my very own, and when my son went away to college, I got him one as well. I think it's very important to have in the house, and it's a staple that we love to have with our food. So here's the finished product, lemongrass pepper chicken with jasmine rice. I'm gonna go ahead and take a bite. I really wish you could smell this. It smells really awesome. Oh my gosh. So this is how you would traditionally have lemongrass pepper chicken served with jasmine rice, but we're gonna just cook it. So normally you would eat this with jasmine rice, but we're gonna change it up a little bit tonight. I've boiled some vermicelli rice noodles. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some lettuce to it that I've cut. And then here we have cilantro and some mince. I love mince. So this is a very traditional Vietnamese way of eating things as well. They like to use a lot of fresh herbs. And we added cucumber. I'm gonna come over back to the pan and add the chicken on top. This is gonna be a treat for my boyfriend. And then the topping on top is fried onion. And there you go. Vermicelli bowl with lemongrass pepper chicken. My mom would freak because this has not been done in her house. But this is the cookie jar. Thanks for hanging out with me at the cookie jar.